So y'all know what it is. Y'all know exactly what it is. I know I'm echoing too. But y'all know what it is though. I'm sitting up here thinking about this sister that was just assaulted the other day. So there's so many comments that I've heard. Disturbing comments. Disturbing to the point that I heard some people say, well, what did she do? You know, what did she do? Man, can we ask ourselves that question, man? Why the hell would we ask, what did she do? What did she do? It hurts because we tend to think that no one came to her aid. Listen, we have to get out of the mindset of blaming the victim. We have to get out the mindset of blaming the victims. And we tend to only blame the victim when it's a black woman. I want to make sure everybody can hear me on TikTok and Facebook. So can somebody please put in the chat whether or not you can hear me? Can somebody that's listening to me please put in the chat whether or not you can hear me? I just want to make sure that you can hear me while I'm speaking. So if there's anybody tuned into my live feed, can you put in the chat whether or not you can hear me? All right, Topher, what's up, big fella? So, can you hear the music, Topher? Can you hear the music? The brother Topher, he tunes in to all my live feeds. He tunes in to all of me and my brother Thomas Freeme's podcast, Thursday Night Get Right. How you doing, niece? And so, listen, y'all. This is tear jerking for me because there is nothing a woman can do to a man that should cause that man to raise his hand to that woman unless that woman is actually threatening that man's life with a weapon. Then he could defend himself to keep her off him, not beat the hell out of her. We sit back as black men and we allow one another to disrespect our sisters. We allow this to happen without any consequences. And that to me is just cowardly. I was a coward before. I sat back and watched this stuff growing up. I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. I was that same coward too. sitting back at a time when I would watch stuff and stuff would take place, and that stuff hurt, man. That stuff hurt. That stuff hurt. You watch your sister get beat on. You watch your sister get assaulted, insulted, degraded, dehumanized. That's cowardice on our behalf. That's why it's so easy for our Black women to be disrespected, because the men act like cowards. The men act like cowards. So it's easy to disrespect a Black woman, or to allow a Black woman to be disrespected. Because too many of our men act like cowards. I recall a situation to where my sister called me one day, and she said, I was 16 years old. She said, this guy, or these guys, had drug her down the alley. It didn't turn out good for them. I don't care the reason, the why, the what she did. If it did not put their lives in danger, there's no reason why a man should put his hands on a woman, let alone hit a woman in the face with a brick. What type of coward would do something like that? That you would pick up a brick. You would pick up a brick. This woman, let me put this in a frame for y'all. This woman is out with her friend, whom she had been friends with for 5 years. She take her friend out, and a guy walks up to her, and he wants to kick it with her. He wanted her to take his phone number. Let me get your phone number, baby. You know how guys do, or women do. Let me get your phone number. So she say no. Mind you, she's around a lot of other Black guys. They're around. People are around. She tell the guy no, she don't want to give him her number. So what does he do? He picks up a brick. She say she turned to the Black guys and say, why is he picking up this brick? The Black guys do nothing about it, like cowards. Hate to see how you treat your mother, or your own sister, your daughter, your aunt, your grandmother. But the Black guys who are around, and I only say Black because I didn't see any white guys, and she said Black guys. So if it was white guys, I would say them too. A coward is a coward. The coward don't wear a shade of skin. A coward is a coward. It's the mindset. So she seen the guy picking up the brick. She turned to the guys and say, why is he picking up this brick? And the guy hurled the brick and hit her on the right side of her face. And that's why her face is swole up like that. So now, after he hits her with the brick, she's crying out to her brothers that's out here, all of these Black men that's out here. So some white men are cowards too. So again, if there's a white guy out there, I didn't see him, but if it's a white guy out there in Houston, Texas, where that happened at, he's a coward too. I'm talking about the mindset of us men and some women. Coward. And so now the guy hits her with the brick on the right side of her face. As y'all can see, in my virtual background, the right side of her face is swollen up. She had to be hospitalized. She had a concussion, obviously. She was hit with a brick. And she cried out to her brothers after the fact and said, you guys just let him hit me with this brick. And you all did nothing about it. They did nothing about it. And you know what one of the guys said in the background? I listened to it. This was so unnerving to me. I have to say this. I don't even advocate, promote violence, but I have to say this. Them guys would have had to do something to me because I would have slapped piss out their face. Or tried to at least. This guy gonna say, she crying out saying, and you guys just let this guy hit me in the face with this brick and just get in the car and drive off. The guy said, well, what was we supposed to do? What was we supposed to do? Why are Black women so disrespected? The reason being is that we have such a cowardly response and we've been indoctrinated to think, what are we supposed to do? If it was your mama, what would you do? And please don't mistake me, because I'm not saying that every situation that you see going on in the streets between a man and a woman, you're supposed to jump in. I am definitely not saying that. But what I am saying is that if I see a man picking up a brick to a woman, I'm going to intervene somehow, some way. It may not be some physical, but I'm going to at least caution that brother, that sister, that whoever it is that has that brick in their hand and say, no, chill out, y'all, chill out. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. Life is too precious for us to be throwing ourselves away like that. Protect the Black women. They are the most disrespected woman on the planet Earth. Name another group of people, ethnic group of people that disrespect their women like we do, or allow their women to be disrespected like we do. Name one. I can't. Help me. If I'm wrong, please check me. The shame and glory has been misplaced, as my brother Alan Bay just said. The shame and glory has been misplaced. I heard this young lady, or I heard this young man say this here. This really touched me right here, because this sat on my heart so hard, because it's so true. This young brother on his podcast said that here it is, a sister can get hit in the face with a brick and men will stand around and do nothing. They will laugh like sniveling cowards while this attack take place right in their face. Their own sister, woman who looked just like them, woman who gave birth to them. And we would sit back and watch and we would say, well, what are we supposed to do? But let something happen to your homeboy. You willing to pick up a gun and go kill somebody over some nonsense that happened to your homeboy that your homeboy may have started. But yet, we'll run up behind that coward type behavior and we'll risk our life and give our lives away and go to prison for life over a friend who started some garbage. And we just wanted to jump in because we wanted to be real. We wanted to keep it real with my mans. That's my dog. I ain't letting nothing happen to my dog. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to my dog. That's my man. You got a problem with him, you got a problem with me. Ain't that what we do, y'all? You got a problem with him, you got a problem with me. But yet that sister, and I'm not just talking about this sister, because there's so many sisters like her that's suffering the same domestic abuse that this lady suffered. It's terrible. It needs to stop. We need to stand up. Stop acting like punks, cowards, chumps. We need to stand up. We always going to have a coward that's going to say stuff and try to cause a distraction. That's what cowards do. Cowards try to cause distractions because they are insecure. They are insecure. Yet, the reason why insecurity runs so rampant in our Black and brown neighborhoods, one of the reasons that I think, I don't have the answers. I'm in research too, like those other people who are in research. They try to find answers so we can start dealing with some of our problems in our communities with our own people. Because we always look outside of ourselves to blame somebody else for the problems that we create on our own. Yeah, I seen Alkaline, or whatever he called himself, Alkaline, with that cowardly statement that he made. He must be a woman abuser too. You know, it's going to be people on his feed that abuse the women. I mean, we got cowards. I mean, that's the bottom line. I don't care if you on this feed and you have put your hands on a woman, you have abused a woman, you have disrespected a woman, you have no respect for a woman, then you a coward. I said it just like that. If you have put your hands on a woman, if you have disrespected a woman, if you have allowed a woman to be disrespected in your presence without any intervention, I didn't say you got to get physically involved. And I didn't say every situation calls for your intervention, because we understand the world that we're living in. I'm talking about these sniveling cowards that will sit back and laugh. They will video this stuff. They will video this stuff, but not intervene in it. They will laugh and joke all on video while the girl is being harmed. I don't think y'all hearing me, man. I really don't think y'all hearing me, because this type of BS, it has to stop. What else needs to be done? What else do we need to do to each other? What else do we need to allow to be done to one another? Eden, who cares? I care. If you don't care, get the hell off the feed. That's all you got to do. Because if anybody that don't care about what I'm talking about, get the hell off the feed. I didn't invite you anyway. So if you have a problem with me saying that we need to stand up for our women, if you got a problem with it, get the hell off my feed. I didn't invite you here anyway. I don't want you here. But you serve your purpose, devil. I've overcome many of your challenges, and this is no different. So I just, God forbid that it becomes one of your mothers or sisters who suffer that type of fate that young sister suffered. God forbid. I don't wish that upon anyone, because I have too much respect for life than to see us being harmed like this. I don't care if it's a black woman, white woman, black guy, white guy. It don't matter. That type of bullying needs to stop, y'all. Because I can guarantee you that if it was a white woman who was hit in the face with a brick. Not only will it be all on the news, not only will all politicians bring their ugly head up out the dirt, make comments, not only that, but there would be so many white men and white women up in arms. Up in arms. And then there wouldn't be comments like Eden and those type of individuals, because they would be up in arms too. Because Eden probably a white guy, girl, one of them. Or he's probably a guy who act like a girl. Coward. So, and I said that. I meant it how I said it, and I said it how I meant it. Because too many people, we walk around and we pick and choose what situation should be appalling. What situation should be appalling? What situation we shouldn't tolerate? We shouldn't tolerate no domestic abuse. None. From anybody, woman on woman, man on women, or however it go. Black on white, white on black, whatever the situation is. We don't tolerate it. If you will defend immediately, then why aren't you defending? Why aren't you standing up? No man can protect what he can't control. I agree to disagree. I'm saying this here, y'all. When my sister told me that those guys drug her down the alley or tried to drag her down the alley, I went over to those guys. And it was several of them, like 7 to 8 of them. I knew them. They knew me. They just didn't know that was my sister. And when I told them that was my sister, they know and knew what the repercussions would be. Immediately when I told them it was my sister, they ran. And I'm not saying that to brag, because I don't even promote, advocate. I don't brag about that stuff in the past. It means nothing to me. Some of that stuff helped shape who I am today, true. But I'm just reflecting back on that. I'm reflecting back because it hurts me. You see a young woman, a woman who is smaller than this guy, less stronger than this guy. And he had to pick up a brick and hit her in the face. Come on, man. How could anyone agree or make fun of something so tragic? How? How do we find comedy in something so tragic? We all know that after a while, the comedians tend to chime in to make people, to find humor in situations, to make people laugh, to bring people out of dark situations. We respect those comedians for the comedy that they present and entertain us with. We respect that. But those are the comedians. Even some of the brothers and sisters on TikTok who do the pranks and stuff, like, we respect them. I'm not talking about them though. I'm talking about for those of us who are not into that entertainment field. How can we make fun? Do you see this lady's head, the side of her face, because she was hit with a brick? It makes, because then we have to look at this here, y'all. This is where I'm going with this. We have to look at this as a people. If a man would hit a woman with a brick, what's the chance that he'll kill that woman? He could have killed her just with the brick. But we have to stop this type of behavior from progressing. Because first it will start with a push and a threat and disrespectful words. Then, next thing you know, he will find himself grabbing her, pushing her harder, choke her. And then we just had several women in Detroit, in the Metro Detroit area who were killed by their significant other. And it didn't start on that day that they were killed. It started way back when people didn't recognize the red flags. People disregarded the red flags. I'm telling us right now, we're not disregarding these red flags no more. We have to address these issues. The one thing that I do agree with what Living Alkaline said is he said, I would address it immediately, even though he was laughing and joking about it. But we have to address this stuff immediately. So if I was amongst the men in that crowd, I would have beat the hell out this guy, or he would have whooped me because I'm trying to whoop him. Either way, he would have got dealt with. He would have remembered. Because certain things we do not tolerate. That could have been my sister. That could have been my daughter. That could have been my mother, my aunt, my grandmother. It's certain things that we have to start implementing in our everyday lives. And the number one thing that we must implement is protecting our Black women. We must protect our Black women. They are too disrespected. They're totally disregarded. They're dehumanized. We can't let that go on, man. We can't. I'm being real with y'all. We can't do that. Because if we allow this trend to continue, the women gonna stand up because the men gonna be like the women. We already seen the trend in how women have made their mark in politics, in business, in entertainment, in sports. They have made their mark. They have to fight harder than we have to fight to get to certain levels, financial levels in life, levels of influence in life. But so many women are achieving that level of influence, that level of power, that level of finance, because they're fighting. And if us men don't wake up, watch where our women will leave us at. Because a woman don't want a weak man. A woman do not like a weak man. A woman wants a man who is going to stand up in the face of adversity. A woman wants a man who has her back and her front. So when we don't stand up with our women, stand up for our women, stand up with our women, by our women side, then we cower in the corner like chumps. Y'all, I mean, what I'm saying, all of us know this. All of us have thought of this. All of us have thought of this. I'm just saying some of the stuff that some people want to say, but may not know how to say it, or may not know when to say it, or may not have the platform to speak it out into a vast majority of people. I'm just telling you how I feel. A coward is a coward to me. I know how it feels to be a coward, because I didn't acted out cowardly behavior before in my lifetime. So I know how it feels to be a coward. I also know how it feels to be a man and reflect back on the mistakes that I made. But I understand a wise man once said that heaven lies at the foot of a woman. Heaven lies at the foot of a woman. Who is the procreator in life? Because a man cannot give birth to a child. So who is the procreator of life? Who is the procreator of life? Men don't give birth to children. Women give birth to children. Women are the procreator of life. Women are the closest thing. They are the gateway to heaven. Heaven lies at the footsteps of a woman. At the footsteps of, we talking about this heaven. We're not talking about the heaven that we imagine in the skies. We talking about the heaven right here in our existence on earth today. Heaven lies at the foot of a woman. That's why every other ethnic group protects their women, because they realize that the peace of their lives, that exuberant feeling of joy, can only be achieved when they respect their women. And they will not allow no one else to come into their household, into their midst, and disrespect their women. We are the only ones who do that. We are the only ones who do that. Let anyone disrespect our women. Anyone. But why do we do it? Because we don't respect our women either. That's the problem. We have to respect our women. Stop acting like punks. Stop acting like cowards. Stop acting like it ain't your sister. Stop acting like it ain't your mother. Stop acting like it can't be your daughter, your grandmother, your aunt. Stop acting like that. We need to start acting like we understand that it can be my daughter, my mother, my sister, my niece, my aunt. We have to act like that. And maybe if we start acting and treating our women like they are a part of us. I seen somebody talk about the Bible yesterday, and it was on one of those talk shows, and he was telling the guys that reading that passage where God say, let me make a mate for man, and he took the woman from the rib of the man, so she's always on his side. So if the woman is supposed to be on our side, why are we throwing them away? Why are we disrespecting them? Why are we getting rid of them? Why are we allowing them to be disrespected? Why ain't we standing up for them? Why ain't we speaking on behalf of them? Why ain't we representing them? Why ain't we loving them? Why ain't we protecting them? Why? Why? What, we scared? We ain't scared when our homeboys say, hey, man, I just had a problem with this guy up the street, man, because he owed me $20, $30, $100. I just had a problem with him. We'll go put guns on our waist. Knowing we already a felon, we'll go put guns on our waist. And we'll go down that street and we'll shoot. Not caring who we shoot. Not even caring if we're going to get caught. And we will end up in prison over $100 that I could have made back in 2 seconds at a job somewhere. But we won't stand up for our sister. We won't stand up for them. We won't go to jail for them. We won't laugh for them. We won't die for them. But we'll die for that friend of ours who got into it with somebody up the street, or that friend of ours who stole something from somebody, and now they avenge their situation, and we'll take his defense and run with him with a gun down the street, or we'll go jump on some people, or we'll go, friends say, hey man, they got some drugs in that house. We'll want to go break in that house, doing some dumb stuff, but yet we can't stand up for our own sister. Man, that's some cowardly stuff. If I ever seen cowardly, that's some cowardly stuff, man. I'm calling it out. That's some cowardly stuff. There has never been a time in my life that I've let anybody put hands on one of my female family members. When I was young and didn't understand stuff, I was young. I didn't understand it. But as soon as I came to an understanding of what was going on, they knew not to ever. Don't even tell me that it happened. Don't even tell me. Don't tell me, because it may never happen again with him. He may never have a hand again. Signs and symbols for the conscious mind. Signs and symbols for the conscious mind. Stand up for Black women. Heaven lies at the foot of a woman. Heaven lies at the foot of a woman. Bow down to the woman. Bow down to the queen. Bow down to the procreator of life. Bow down to her. Assist her as you would like her to assist you. Stand with her as you would like her to stand with you. Stand up for her like you want her to stand up for you. Too often times we'll find a sister out in public, and I've seen it, especially in the club scene. She'll be with her guy or some guys that want to get with her. He want to have sex with her and all type of stuff. But when the other girls or the other guys accost her and disrespect her, he don't stand up. But yet he the same guy who was just hitting on her, who was just trying to bed her. Come on, man. What type of cowardly stuff is this, man? That you can't even intervene? You can't even try to bring some peace, be a mediator? We all got conflict resolution skills. We all got mediation skills. Because soon as something happened with our mother, we turned into professional mediators. Conflict resolution between our friend and our brothers or sisters who get into it. We conflict resolutionists. We anger management professionals. We do all this stuff when it's close to us. We do all this stuff, man. We go into our bag. We literally go into our bag and come out, and people be like, next thing you know, people be like, man, I like the way you handled that, man. Mom be like, thank you, but I just don't want to get you caught up in me and my boyfriend's garbage or me and your father's garbage. But thank you, son. It's in us, man. It's in us to stand up. But some of us are scared to bring out that which is in us because it tends to make us seem a little weak. We can no longer stand on the side with homeboys and them and laugh when the girl getting beat up. We can't do that no more. Now we kind of ostracized by that crowd of people. But listen, they wasn't meant for me anyway. Because if you stand for the destruction of who we are, then you don't stand with me. Let me say that again. If you stand for the destruction of who we are, then you don't stand with me. If you stand for the destruction of who I am trying to become, then you don't stand with me. If you stand for and stand by and watch the destruction of Black women, then you don't stand with me. You can't stand with me. You can't stand with me. Listen, because I have been in prison and I've heard the stories of so many men. I talked to them face to face. I confronted them. I talked to them. I want to know what's going on in their mind. Why did they kill that girl? Why did they kill that woman? Why did they kill their mother? I know several guys who killed their own mother. And this is where it started. I'm trying to teach y'all something and learn something at the same time. I'm trying to inspire us and motivate us to look beyond this situation and look at what can come if we allow this stuff to continue. The little brother one day, a few years back, his mother didn't want him to go outside with the gang members. You know what he did to his mother while she lay on the couch? He blew her brains out. Why do I bring that up? Because I'm just showing you how when you disrespect women and you don't have respect for black women, it's easy to do anything to a black woman because you don't have no respect for them in the first place. So now we have to catch these brothers and sisters when we see this stuff, those red flags, we have to catch them brothers and sisters right then and there and talk to them. You ain't got to try to act like you their mother or father when you talk to them. Talk to them like you their friend. Talk to them like you their brother, their sister, because they need help. We need help. We messed up. We traumatized. What type of people is going to sit back and let their own people be destroyed right before their eyes and they don't intervene? That tells me that we kind of messed up in the mind. We acknowledge that. I acknowledge that I got some things going on. But that's how I know that I'm going to come out of it, because I acknowledge that I got some things going on in my mind that shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be like that. I need help. I try to seek help every single day of my life, because life will continue whether I'm here or not. But while I'm here, I want to be the best me that I could be. I want to be the best me that I could be, because if I'm the best me that I could be the best me for you that I could be. I could be the best leader in my community that I can be. But if I'm not fighting for the best me that I could be, then I'm giving you the worst of me. I'm not living out my potentials. And I strive and I thrive on trying to better myself so I can live out my potential, so I can stand up for my people. And I will definitely not sit back and watch the destruction of my people when I know that I'm in a position to stop it from happening. And so I put myself in positions to stop things like this from happening. I talk to young people. I talk to older people. I talk to my brothers. I talk to my sisters. I love to see people thrive. I love to see people alive, living their life, smiling, joyful, not thinking about if they're going to walk outside their home and lose their life in that moment. I want to take people's mind away from all of the hatred, all of the disrespect. I don't want us to become desensitized by this stuff and just say, oh, that's just how they treat women. That sister said some hurtful stuff when she described that man hitting her in the face with that brick. She said, and all of these guys sat back and watched. She said, I can't believe this what you guys do. This what black men do. That hurt. That hurt, y'all. You know why it hurt? Because it's the truth. She said, this is what black men do. And overwhelmingly, that's what black men do. That's the problem, y'all. That's what black men do. Why? When we gonna put on our drawers and take them panties off? When we gonna stop wearing panties and put on drawers? When? Our sisters been calling us out for far too long. They've been telling us we waiting on y'all. Our sisters been telling us for too long that they waiting on us to take the lead. A woman should never have to stand and fight for herself, for her own dignity, for her own physical agency. A woman should never be left alone to fight by herself like that. I'm sure you all remember on the news when the guy in the restaurant was threatening that one sister. She was with her, I think her 13, 14-year-old son. And the guy said, say one more word, and I'm gonna knock you out. And the guy hit the sister, kept beating her so hard in the face. And her son killed him. And I'm not saying that's the way to stand up, but I acknowledge that in that young man's mind, that's the way that he felt that he had to stand up. That's the way that he felt that he had to stand up, because he could not tolerate seeing a man brutalize his mother the way that that man brutalized his mother. And there was other people around who didn't do nothing. Even the cameraman didn't do nothing. But the cameraman served a purpose in that situation because it helped tell the story of what actually happened. So we respect the cameraman in that situation. But what I'm just telling y'all is that we sitting up and we sitting back and watch these sisters be so disrespected. I watched the guy. He when was it? I think it was yesterday. Might have been yesterday or the day before. And I couldn't hear what he was saying because I was upstairs looking down out the window, but I seen that he was I was on the balcony, and I seen that he was talking to the sister real harsh. And then she turned around and she was like, and in my mind, I was upstairs at the time, so I couldn't even get downstairs anyway. It didn't escalate no further, but I can tell that he was using language against that sister that was so disrespectful that her little friends, and they was like 17, 18 years old, and that her little friends like, come on, F him. I could make out some of the stuff that was saying, but I couldn't gather what the conversation was about. But they didn't know each other. And when this situation happened with the young sister being hit with a brick, it made me think about that. Because I know that guys nowadays can't accept rejection. They can't accept rejection. I'm talking about guys nowadays can't accept rejection. Why? Because your ego and your pride won't allow you to recognize that someone doesn't like you. Someone is not feeling you. That's the truth. We heard of that term, God's gift to women. No, women is God's gift to man. Let's remember that. Women is God's gift to man, right? So, but we are so indoctrinated to believe that we are God's gift to women, that there's no woman should ever turn me down. I am. No, you are not. I'm just letting you brothers know. No, you are not. You are not him. And a perfect example of you not being him is when that sister refused to give her number to that guy. She was telling him that, no, you're not him. You're not who I want to be with, who I want to walk away with, who I want to communicate with. You're not him. It's no disrespect. That's with no disrespect. But through our ego, our false ego, and our false pride, rejection is like a knife being stabbed into our hearts because we live by false ego and false pride. And that false ego and that false pride will cause us to do some things to women that's unconscionable. It will cause us to do things to women that we would never want someone to do to our blood sister, our mothers. We would never want some of these thoughts that men have in their mind of harming a woman. We would never want them to have those thoughts when it comes to our blood. But yet, we don't say nothing to the guy out in the street, our friends even, or even ourselves, when we have those thoughts about other women. We don't realize that those other women have mothers, fathers, grandparents, little brothers or sisters, or older brothers. We don't realize or recognize that the way that we treat women disregarding that they have family that love them, that men will treat our blood the same way. But the same way that we will be up in arms about our own blood, we should be up in arms about anybody that raises a hand to a woman without life justification. If it is not in defense of your life, in other words, if this woman is not trying to take your life, then you should have no reason to use any type of serious or deadly force to dislodge her, disable her, or unalive her. Under no circumstances. First of all, if we claim to have any amount of intelligence as men, young men, older men, if we have any amount of intelligence as men, then we should be able to recognize the signs of when things are changing. Things are becoming more volatile, hostile. We should be able to recognize the signs and be able to walk away. Am I right? Am I right? That as men who claim to have just the iota of intelligence, we're supposed to be able to recognize when things are turning a little bit ugly for us, right? When her attitude and my attitude are conflicting now. Because as a man, we supposed to be able to, first of all, we know we're stronger, not necessarily mentally, but we're talking about physically. We know we're stronger. We know we can overpower. So therefore, we should use that intelligence that we do have to direct our strength in our legs and our feet to walk away. I understand, believe me, I understand some women say some stuff that cut like straight razors. I understand. I have been there. At one of my jobs, I have heard some stuff hurled at me from women, but never once did I respond in any derogatory way. Because in my mind, I felt like you ain't on my level. When you speak that way, then you're not on my level. And for me, this don't go for everybody else. But for me, it was easy for me to say all is well and keep it moving. You know, all is well and keep it moving. Because I do security work. So I'm usually at the door of some club and, you know, got to search people and all this stuff. And women, they get mad. Sometimes they trying to sneak in stuff. I understand that. And guess what? I don't try to condemn them for that. And I tell them that. But you can't bring that in, man. F y'all bees always acting playing tough. No problem. So I deal with this and I understand that women can say some stuff that cut deep. But if it don't cut deep enough to take my life, then I'm never going to respond in any physical way. There is no word that a woman can say that should cause a man to respond with physical violence. There's no word that a woman can say that should cause a man to respond with physical violence. Tell me a word. She could talk about my mama. She could talk about my daughter. She could talk about my son that passed away, my brother that got killed, my cousin got killed. But there is nothing that she could say that should cause me to put my hands on. I say that this don't go for everyone. Everyone is not where I'm at. Everyone is not where I'm at with in this respect. But I'm in a place in my life to where I acknowledge humanity. I acknowledge some of our bad decisions and some of the words that we choose, because we know that words can save, create, or destroy. Some words can save you. Some words can create a situation. And some words can destroy you. What do I mean by that? A brother once told me, he said, one misplaced word can make all the difference in life. One misplaced word can sometimes determine life or death. And I know that a lot of people who are on this feed right now have had situations to where they thought somebody said this, or somebody said that, but because they used the wrong word, and you were like, well, you said this. And we said, no, I ain't mean it that way. No. But one misplaced word can change the trajectory of a situation. I stand with sisters. I don't care about their smart mouths and all of that. We know that. We know some sisters got that sharp tongue. We know that. My mother had a sharp tongue. My cousins right now got really sharp tongues. But will I sit back and tolerate somebody putting their hands on them because they have a sharp tongue? Absolutely not. Men, we have to stand up. We have to take our place in the affairs of life that protects Black women. We have to take our place in the affairs of life that protects Black women. We have to stop cowering to our own insecurities. We have to stop doing that, because what's going on today is going to get worse tomorrow if we don't stand up. So I'm encouraging all of my brothers, let's stand up and protect our women. They deserve our respect. Just as we try to impose on them to respect us, when sometimes we don't even deserve it. When sometimes we don't even deserve it because we have degraded our women so much, but we still impose on them to respect us as the man. As the man. The same man who will not protect them. So I'm going to bring this to a close. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. And I ask that you just share my feed. I'm going to give y'all a minute just to share my feed right now. Share my live right now, y'all. I'm going to give y'all a chance just to share my live, because I appreciate everyone who tuned in and all the comments. I'm reading through them. I can't read all of them because it's speeding up so fast, but I appreciate everybody for interacting. I appreciate anybody who has a disagreement. I appreciate you, because it's through such disagreements that we build and find bridges. We build and refine bridges through disagreement. So I appreciate those who came on here with their disagreements. I appreciate those who came on here with their agreements. I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate y'all so much, because I've always wanted to try to be the voice of the people. I've always wanted to get my thoughts out to people, and you allow me to do this every single time I come on live feed. So I appreciate y'all, and I'm going to say peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. For those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message, because someone needs to be inspired on this beautiful day. And I'm going to leave us with this song, How Come, How Long. Help. We can blame it on ourselves. We can tell ourselves and one and that way. Don't you fell in love with the wrong kind of man. Okay. For those who don't know, September is the domestic violence month. For those who don't know, for those who are concerned, for those who need to know, like the young lady on this feed who said that she got what she deserved. I would hate for that to happen to you, young lady, and I would hate for you to be the one that we talking about next time. So again, I'm going to say peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. And for those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I'm going to ask y'all to pass along the message because someone needs to be inspired on this beautiful day. This is Domestic Violence Month. So I ask that we have conversations with our loved ones, our female loved ones, have conversations with them so we could somehow, some way, open their eyes, open their hearts, open their minds, and bring them out of the darkness of domestic violence if they're in such darkness. Take care. Peace.